Right now, everyone you know sees you as the same man you've always been. Same body, same habits, same story. But in just 90 days, they won't recognize you at all. And here's how. Real change happens by stacking small, deliberate actions day after day until the shift is permanent. Eventually, who you were will become unrecognizable, and who you've become can't be undone. That's where the 6 pillars of becoming unrecognizable in 90 days comes in. But you will need a total overhaul, a deliberate act of destruction and creation across 6 critical pillars: your identity, physical body, skills, environment, psychology, and social circles. Skip any pillar and it leaves a crack in your foundation. And as any structural engineer will tell you, a crack is all it takes for the entire structure to crumble. Pillar number 1 is your identity. Most transformations fail because people try to staple new habits onto an old self-image. It's like building a skyscraper on a swamp. No matter how great you design it, the whole thing will eventually sink. True change starts when you burn the blueprint of who you've been and redraw it from scratch. Your behavior must align with the story that you believe about yourself. If you see yourself as someone who tries to get in shape, your brain's going to sabotage you. But if you see yourself as a person who is in shape, your actions are going to follow. Everything you do, from how you eat to how you talk, must align with your identity. When there's a mismatch between who you say you are and how you act, then you create cognitive dissonance, a festering internal conflict that won't resolve until you either align or collapse. To force this identity shift, you first have to become a product of your decisions, not your past. Every choice you make is a vote for who you become. To start, create an identity profile for the person that you're building. Write a 1-page document detailing their habits, values, priorities, and even their flaws. In short, ask this question: who are you? Next, audit your life. If a habit, routine, or relationship belongs to the old you, it's gotta go. There is no maybe it's fine. It's a surgical no. Finally, you have to act as if it's day one. There's no waiting period. Speak the way they would speak, eat the way they would eat, and live it in your body until it's the only thing that feels real. The reputation makes it automatic, and automation becomes your identity. Pillar number 2 is your physical transformation. Your body is the undeniable billboard for your discipline. It's proof that you're not lying to yourself. When you walk into a room, people will feel your presence before they even look. This is aura. This isn't about vanity. It's about making your transformation impossible to ignore. Changing your body is the fastest way to prove to yourself that you're capable of long-term change. You wake up every day to undeniable progress in the mirror, and that momentum bleeds into every other part of your life. When you master your body, you start to realize you can master your mind. Your cravings and impulses and excuses are all tied to your biology. When you learn to override them, you're not negotiating with weakness. You're reclaiming a part of yourself. Now, you don't need 30 supplements and a complicated training routine or any of these AI apps for fitness. You need less decisions and more sets and more reps. Lift with progressive overload. Walk in your area as much as humanly possible and eat intentionally, and then sleep like it matters. Repeat those simple steps until you're unrecognizable. Remember, you're not aiming for one perfect day. You're aiming for 100 repetitive days. That's what turns heads. When you tolerate in your physical state, will always bleed over into your emotional and mental state. So whatever you have is going to lead to a sloppy posture. That could lead to sloppy thinking. Low energy could lead to low ambition. That's why I always like to start with the physical. Eventually, though, you will become hooked on the progress. The tightening belt, the visible veins, vascularity. You'll train when you don't feel like it, and you'll track the macros you're shoving in your mouth. This is where that gap is created between who you were and who you're going to become. And it's not through genetics or shortcuts. It's through consistency and obedience to a system. The more rigid your system becomes, the freer you're going to feel. So for the next 90 days, follow this framework. Train at least 4 times a week, and then try to lift heavy. That's progressive overload. And then walk 10,000 steps daily, rain or shine, and don't make excuses. Then eat the same high protein, unprocessed food every day and cut the poison. Limit your alcohol consumption and no degeneracy and no binge nights. Sleep at least 7 to 8 hours per night and track everything: your weight, your calories, your reps, and your steps. If you're not measuring, then you're guessing. Pillar number 3. This is your hard skill acceleration. Once your identity is sharp and your body's dialed in, the next move is power. I'm talking about real, tangible power that comes from monetizable skills. In the Italian mob, no one just walks up to a made man. You start as an errand boy, you carry messages, you run street-level hustles, and you prove that loyalty in small, dangerous ways. Every move is a test, and every favor is a brick in the foundation of trust. But over time, as you show competence and reliability, you get pulled into higher stakes jobs, collections, negotiations, operations that require brain as much as muscle. That's where your skills matter. The guy who can read the room, keep us cool, or make money flow becomes indispensable. Eventually, when your value to the family is undeniable, you earn that ceremony of becoming made. It's the moment you stop being replaceable and start being protected, respected, and yes, even feared. Did you know that even the US government came to the mob for help during World War II? Think about that. The most powerful institution on earth, with all its armies, resources, and intelligence networks, they still had to lean on men from the streets. They needed influence at the docks, protection against sabotage, and eyes were official eyes they couldn't even reach. And the mob delivered that. Now imagine that level of leverage. Imagine being so essential that the government itself needs you. That's the true definition of power, when your skills and network make you critical to forces far beyond yourself. Your rise outside the mob follows this same principle. The right skills will put you in rooms the old you couldn't even imagine. They shift you from invisible to invaluable. And you don't just become unrecognizable, you become someone who matters, someone others can't move forward without. The old you took years. The new you can learn a high-income skill in 6 weeks or less. The difference is not intelligence, it's intensity. It's your focus and it's your immersion in the subject matter. You have to stop dabbling and start compressing time. You treat every new skill like you're training for the Olympics. Most people waste years learning useless skills, and they don't have monetizable value to anyone important. If it doesn't solve a painful problem for someone, it's a hobby, not a skill. So pick one. It could be copywriting, sales, marketing, and then master it. Real urgency creates output, and real pressure creates solutions. Don't wait to be ready. Package a result and then sell it. You need real feedback loops, real clients, and real pressure. Be the person who learns copywriting during their lunch break and rewrites ads for fun, maybe even at 1 a.m. People should start asking if you're okay. You should be turning down parties because you're building. Eventually, you won't even miss the noise because you'll be in a flow state, and flow feels better than any escape ever could. Passive learning is the biggest trap. Taking a course doesn't make you skilled. Execution and the potential for public failure does create skill. So you need to create, ship, and repeat. And you will suck at first, and that's okay. That's how you know you're playing a real game. You need to build in public and show your work publicly. The more value you drop, the more opportunity you attract. And to accelerate mastery in any skill over the next 90 days, do this. Pick one skill and eliminate everything else. Then deep dive for 7 days, saturating your brain with knowledge. Elon Musk often says that the person who solves a problem knows everything about it. That's how you can tell the difference between someone who just talks and someone who actually solved it. Then launch one project. Build something real and ship it, whatever it is, and get feedback fast. Ask someone better than you to rip it apart and give you negative feedback. Sell the skill. Get paid for your work, even if it's a small amount. Once someone pays you once, you're in business, and then you can do it again. Pillar number 4 is environmental re-engineering. Your environment will always beat your willpower over the long run. If you want to be unrecognizable, you can't just change yourself. You have to change your location. Your surroundings are an operating system that runs you, and it dictates what's easy, what's hard, and what's normal. The first step is subtraction. It's not about adding productivity hacks. It's about removing everything that keeps the old you alive. So unfollow people who make mediocrity acceptable. Delete apps that hijack your focus and purge your physical space of everything that's old. It could be old clothes, old junk food, and trinkets that belong to your past self. Once you've cleared the dead weight, now you can rebuild. Make bad habits harder and good habits unavoidable. Put your phone across the room at night when you go to bed and keep your gym bag close to the door. Lay out your clothes the night before. You're designing your environment to do the heavy lifting so you don't have to rely on your motivation. Your social circle is the most powerful environmental factor you have. And you can't expect to sprint when everyone around you is walking slow or crawling. So get close to people whose normal is your goal. You don't need a dramatic exit speech from old relationships either. Just become harder to reach. Let the gap grow naturally until those old connections fade. Sometimes the only way to win is to physically leave. It could be to a new city, a new apartment, or even a new country. New surroundings force new patterns. So to build your environment, you've got to strip away the noise, cut the clutter in your space, the endless scrolling on your phone, even the people who drain your energy. Then set up your surroundings so they pull you forward without friction. So taking action becomes automatic and spontaneous. Create sacred zones, one for work, one for training, and then one for rest, and then guard them. Create your circle so that most of your time is spent with people who challenge you, sharpen you, and even force you to become higher than you thought possible. And then feed your mind with better fuel. This is important. Replace the junk content with deep learning that actually transforms you. Pillar number 5 is psychological strength. Your mind is the command center for everything that you're going to build. Think of it like the military's Pentagon. If it's fragile, the whole operation will collapse. You can have the perfect physique and you can have millions in the bank, but if your head caves under stress, criticism, or uncertainty, you will fall back to your old patterns. Real resilience isn't about staying positive. It's about being able to take a hit and then process it without playing the victim role or engaging in self-pity, and then keep moving forward with the same force that you had before. Pressure is an honor, and you build toughness by putting yourself in situations where you can fail and still show up the next day. And the more you do this, the less those hits register. Soon you won't even feel them. Mental strength is about obedience to your own standards. You follow the rules that you set for yourself, and then this will build self-belief and a quiet confidence that you are a person who keeps promises to themselves. A fortified mind does not chase every shiny object. It locks onto a target and filters out everything else to the point of obsession. So fortify your mind. Lock in 3 to 5 non-negotiables that you're going to do every day. Embrace weekly hardship to toughen your edge, and then cut out all that dopamine and mental junk food. Spend at least 10 minutes in silence, and then pre-decide how you're going to respond when your emotions spike. Pillar number 6 is social recalibration. Who you surround yourself with determines your ceiling in life. If your circle tolerates mediocrity, it becomes like a gravitational pull that you can't escape. So you have to deliberately reshape the social systems you operate in, because relationships will either accelerate you or anchor you down. There is no middle ground. From here on out, everyone in your life must pass a single test. Do they make you better, stronger, or faster? And if the answer is no, it's better to cut ties immediately and don't wait. You don't have to run, though, and burn all the bridges. Just stop showing up to places. Stop responding to those texts, and stop going to everywhere that you wasted time. Eventually, they'll get the hint. Let those connections fade naturally, but begin immediately. That space will be filled with people who push you instead. You have to replace your old circle. Pay for rooms, pay for masterminds and networking groups of people above you. It's funny how masterminds that charge $10,000 to level up, people call them scams online. But when you hang out with your loser friends for free, nobody calls that a scam, even though that's the real scam. When you're the smallest fish, you have to adopt the standards of the room. And high caliber people don't keep you around just because you want to be there. You have to bring something to the table. So lead with value before you expect anything in return. Your social feed is also part of your circle. Every account you follow is a voice in your head. So unfollow or mute anyone who isn't contributing to your evolution and replace them with people who are already where you want to be. And also, you can assess your attachment to the past by just mass unfollowing everybody. And then you're going to see how hard that is for you to do. That's because your old past is calling. So the more quality input you get, the more quality output you're going to produce. And once your social ecosystem is upgraded, your standards are going to rise without too much effort. You're going to stop having to force discipline because it's just the way that your life is now. And you'll be living a life that reflects your new identity. And the only thing left is to ensure that the machine you've built keeps running. All right, here's your final action step. Pick a hard start date within 24 hours. If it's not by the next day, then don't even bother because you're not ready yet. Then commit fully to the 6 pillars we just uncovered and track your progress daily. audit and adjust every single 2 weeks. And remember, you're here to become unrecognizable in 90 days, then carry that forward as a new habit for the rest of your life. Eventually, you will leave the old you behind as the new you takes over. So if you love leveling up and you love being the best version of yourself, I want you to destroy that subscribe button and join the #1 most aspirational community on YouTube. And click right here to watch my last video. I'll see you guys in the trenches.